Hi, I'm Keith Wailoo. I'm a professor at Princeton University in History and Public Affairs. I'm the author of a newly published book called Pushing Cool: Big Tobacco, Racial Marketing, and the Untold Story of the Menthol Cigarette. And I grew up in, as many people my age did, in an age of really prominent tobacco billboards. Smoking was everywhere. And menthol was definitely part of the landscape, especially in the advertising of a black themed product. Over the course of my adult life, tobacco products have been banned from advertising. Billboards disappeared in the 1990s. Indoor smoking has changed. And so, what I was interested in is kind of how do you go from a product being so prominent and also but also recognizably dangerous, and then to one that's on the cusp, as with the menthol cigarette, of being banned. The impact that I hope the book has is to kind of explain that that the affinity between menthol smoking and race or gender isn't something that develops naturally. It's actually a product of very, very careful, deliberate maneuvering on the part of so many actors that it makes your head spin. Um, and and that really is the driving force. So by the impact that I hope is that, as we debate, as the FDA takes up the question of whether to ban the menthol cigarette, that they don't just consider kind of targeted marketing as a kind of abstract idea, that they really understand the texture of how it is that these markets were built and sustained over generations. And I think it's only after you see that that you realize the importance of actually banning this product. Over the summer, even before the book was out, I was speaking with legislators in my own state. I've spoken with, had preliminary conversations with advocacy groups that are interested in expanding the conversation. But, in some ways, the goal is multi pronged. That is to say, working directly with policymakers, legislators is one matter, but shaping the broad public understanding and discussion about the history of menthols, how they became so embedded that and how they endure, has been another main goal of mine. Even while the FDA is deciding what to do, you have cities and states that are moving ahead with the question of banning menthol cigarettes. And so we're waiting for the confirmation of a new FDA commissioner. We're waiting for the FDA to issue its notice on rulemaking, which it's promised to do before April. And in the course of the next few months, then the conversation has to be enriched in order to um, lay the groundwork for, I think, uh, a final decision on banning menthols. We've had actually this promise to ban menthols at least three times in the past almost 2 decades. And the question is whether this time will be the charm.